You know, one thing I'll say about these Vauxhalls, which will probably come as a big surprise to people because these are obviously a budget low-end vehicle, is that the brakes on these little Vauxhalls are absolutely fantastic. The brakes on these cars really do work well. I don't quite know how Vauxhall managed to pull that off, but the brakes on this are 10 times better than you'll find on any Ford of the same category. The only other car I can think of who has brakes as good as these ones is the Audis. Now, this vehicle has great visibility. The rear screen is pretty clear. There's a bit of obstacles with the headrests. They do take up a lot of the rear view vision. The side mirrors, although they're narrow, they're actually long. They do capture quite a lot of vision on the sides. The dashboard instrumentation here is very clear, very visible. It's not obstructed by the top of the steering wheel. The center console is very nicely laid out, very basic, very elementary. It's the sort of console you can look at while you're driving, bish bosh bish, do what you got to do and not get confused with deciphering what each button does. Steering on this car, a little bit of a lag, which could be worn steering components because this particular vehicle has done 85,000 miles, but the steering is quite responsive. There is a bit of a bounce in the car, which I think is too soft to shocks. I think the shocks could be a bit firmer. Of course, this isn't a sports model, but they are a bit soft. Now, obviously, swerving in emergency situations and cornering, it's you know, you need to be able to handle the vehicle with shock absorbers as soft as this. Controlling the vehicle at speed is going to be pretty difficult. Now, this is by no means a road rocket, but this car is more than capable of zooming down the motorway and overtaking lorries at enough speed if need be, even though it's a 5-speed manual. Probably would benefit from a 6th gear, but these cars now, you know, they're very, very cheap to buy. Anybody picking one of these up of this particular year is going to be buying one of these as a cheap runaround. I don't think you've got a bad buy here if you're after one of these. They're great for nipping around town, picking up the shopping, getting you back and forth to work, doing the school run, etc, etc. Parts are readily available, very cheap. If there's anything bad I can say about this car, I'd say what I've basically already mentioned. The shocks are a bit soft, and the steering has a bit of play in it, but that may be a slight mechanical issue with this car. It may need some track rod ends replaced or something similar, but these are great little cars. It's one of Vauxhall's biggest sellers. I'd recommend getting it if you're after one as a second backup vehicle.